Hi everybody. I was out walking this morning and I stopped by my neighbor's little free library and I saw a book that I think we have at school and I said, oh gosh, this is such a great book. I'm going to borrow it and then put it back. It's called Global Babies. It's really great because it has these pictures of all these babies around the world. Here's Guatemala. Wherever they live, and that's Thailand. Wherever they go, we have Greenland. And Mali. Whatever they wear, here's the USA, and India, South Africa, and Fiji. Whatever they feel, babies everywhere, Peru and Afghanistan. Are beautiful. There's another US baby and a Malawi baby. Special, Spain and Iraq. And loved, Rwanda and Bhutan. I just thought that would be fun to see babies from all around the world. Let's do, what is this? These are Grandma's glasses, and this is Grandma's hat. And this is how she folds her hands and puts them in her lap. These are Grandpa's glasses, and this is Grandpa's hat, and this is how he folds his arms, just like that. What? What? You want to do the opposite? Oh my goodness. All right. These are Grandpa's glasses, and this is Grandpa's hat, and this is how he folds his hands and puts them in his lap. These are Grandma's glasses, and this is Grandma's hat, and this is how she folds her arms, just like that. Oh, you are so silly. I have some books called Mr. Putter and Tabby, and it's by Cynthia Rylant, who we listened to yesterday. She wrote the Henry and Mudge series. Well, I have a whole lot of Mr. Putter and Tabby. So the first one that I have is Mr. Putter and Tabby Pour the Tea. And there's Mr. Putter and there's Tabby. And here's his mailbox. It says Putter. Ooh, that looks good. Just in time for breakfast. Chapter 1 is called Mr. Putter, Chapter 2 is called Tabby, and Chapter 3 is Mr. Putter and Tabby. Chapter 1, Mr. Putter. Before he got his fine cat, Tabby, Mr. Putter lived all alone. In the mornings, he had no one to share his English muffins. In the afternoon, he had no one to share his tea. And in the evenings, there was no one Mr. Putter could tell his stories to, and he had the most wonderful stories to tell. just a little bit here. All day long, as Mr. Potter clipped his roses and fed his tulips and watered his trees, Mr. Potter wished for some company. He had warm muffins to eat, he had a good tea to pour, and he had wonderful stories to tell. Mr. Potter was tired of living alone. Mr. Potter wanted a cat. The thinking bubbles, he's thinking about a cat. Chapter 2, Tabby. Mr. Potter went to the pet store. "Do you have cats?" he asked the pet store lady. "We have 14, she said. Mr. Potter was delighted, but when he looked into the cage, he was not. "These are kittens," he said. "I was hoping for a cat." "Oh, no one wants a cat, sir," said the pet store lady. "They are not cute. They are not peppy." Mr. Potter himself had not been cute and peppy for a very long time. "I want a cat." "Then go to the shelter, sir," said the pet store lady. "You are sure to find a cat." Mr. Potter went to the shelter. "Have you any cats?" he asked the shelter man. "We have a fat gray one, a thin black one, and an old yellow one," said the man. "Did you say old?" asked Mr. Potter. The shelter man brought Mr. Potter the old yellow cat. Its bones creaked, its fur was thinning, and it seemed a little deaf. Mr. Potter creaked. His hair was thinning, and he was a little deaf too. So he took the old yellow cat home. He named her Tabby, and that's how their life began. She's looking a little scared right there. Chapter 3, Mr. Potter and Tabby. Tabby loved Mr. Potter's tulips. She was old, and beautiful things meant more to her. Do you see her walking in the tulips? She would rub past all the yellow tulips, then she would roll past all the red tulips. So what time of year is this, if there's tulips blooming? I think you're right. I think it might be spring. Then she would take her bath among all the pink tulips. Mr. Potter clipped roses while Tabby bathed. There she is. Look, there's a woodpecker. In the mornings, Mr. Potter and Tabby liked to share an English muffin. Mr. Potter ate his with jam. Tabby ate hers with cream cheese. In the afternoons, Mr. Potter and Tabby liked to share tea. Mr. Potter took his with sugar. Tabby took hers with, guess what? Cream. And in the evenings, they sat by the window, and Mr. Potter told stories. He told the most wonderful stories. Each story made Tabby purr. On summer days, they warmed their old bones together in the sun. On fall days, they took long walks through the trees, and on winter days, they turned the opera up very loud. Here he is warming their bones, and here they are. They're both, looks like they're both singing opera. After a while, it seemed as if they had always lived together. Tabby knew just what Mr. Potter was going to do next. Mr. Potter knew just where Tabby was going to sleep next. Look at her playing with the rubber ducky. And then she sleeps in some funny places. But that's what cats do, right? In the mornings, each looked for the other as soon as they opened their eyes. And at night, Each looked for the other as their eyes were closing. Mr. Putter could not remember life without Tabby. Tabby could not remember life without Mr. Putter. They lived among their tulips and trees. Do you see what he did to his mailbox? It says Putter, and this says Tabby. They ate their muffins, they poured their tea, they turned up the opera, and enjoyed the most perfect company of all. He's making a photo album. Each other. And that's Mr. Putter and Tabby, and here's a picture of Mr. Putter and Tabby taking their tea. Oh, and the tulip. I hope you enjoyed that book. I have a whole bunch more of Mr. Putter and Tabby, so I will read those each day. And I'll see you again soon. Have a great day. Bye.